order of the Town of New Windsor work session for May 20th, 2024. Agenda item approval of minutes from the April 15th, 2024 work session meeting. They've been emailed out by Dana.
Make a motion that we approve the vote.
We have a motion for approval. Do I hear a second?
A second.
We have a motion and second to approve the minutes from the April 15th, 2024 work session. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Introduce an ordinance to amend chapter 215 of the Code of Town of New Windsor regarding issues in the Village Center District at distilleries and similar uses. I had contacted Councilman Huffman some time ago to look at possible microbreweries, because we didn't have anything, and then we just kind of expanded on that. I'll defer time over to Councilman Huffman if you'd like to address that.
Sure. We've talked about this several times, kind of over a long period of time. It kind of got pushed onto the back burner, and it came back when we had an interested investor in Dillman that was interested in doing a distillery type operation. So we pushed it back to the front. We've all seen the ordinance several times. So I guess one of the key points that I want to make about the ordinance is it's for a conditional use in the village zoning area that will ensure that we have say over what buildings within the village center could house a business such as a micro distillery or micro. But it has all the normal specifics that would be in there to allow the town the necessary controls, but allow us to expand and have a business like that if one should be pertinent in the town.
I'll just add, the reason that there is this litany of possible uses is because I have seen in my travels small distilleries that also have breweries, small breweries that also have distilleries, one that decides it's going to roast coffee on the weekends. So rather than not put everything in and have somebody then come back if they want to roast, 20 pounds of coffee on Friday, I figured it made as much sense just to put it all in the first time and put it out to the universe and see what everybody thought of it.
Well, I think it's something we need, hopefully sooner than later, but time to tell. So, anybody have any questions? If not, comments? If not, do I hear a motion to introduce ordinance number 05-20-24?
I'll make that motion to introduce it.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance number 05-20-24. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so carried. That will be, we have a hearing next month then, June, on that.
Maybe by the work session, not by the regular council meeting,
Oh, that's right.
because there's statutory time.
30 days.
I don't remember exactly what they are. but
Okay,
They're like 21 days.
all right. All right, thank you. Number 3, 104 Church Street and Main Street parking issues and arrangements.
Okay, so the property at 104 Church Street consists of 7 apartments. The building has limited on-street parking and 1 off-site parking space. Historically, tenants have been allowed to park at adjacent properties. And so what we've seen in the Public Works Department is parking by the tenants and no parking zones, which is concerning in some spots because there are site distance issues, and in other spots, maybe we should look at trying to allow 1 or 2 spaces there. And they had a previous parking arrangement with 106 Main Street, and now they've revoked those privileges. One of my main concerns is I've noticed that some of the tenants have parked at the fire hydrant, in front of the fire hydrant actually. And so that's very concerning. So I didn't know how we would want to address that. I know this is kind of a code enforcement issue and maybe something that we need to look at. Now, the building has been an apartment building for decades. There's always been parking limitations there. However, it's something that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention.
Is this down the corner?
It is. Yep, so there's the property in question. So I wasn't able to actually catch the folks parking in front of the fire hydrants or anything like that. Well, they're kind of behind it, well, the way we have it delineated, there's yellow curb and then the red curb in front of the hydrant, and then like 4 feet before the hydrant. So, it's definitely a safety hazard. The fire department's gonna do what they have to do to get the car moved or go through the window if there's a fire there.
Well, first of all, if it's illegal parking, that's a definitely McGinnis issue. He needs to be giving out citations. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
they're breaking the law, they're breaking the law, and you can take, especially in front of fire hydrant.
Mhm.
Now, the only town issue that I can really see here is the distance of the yellow line. And I don't know what the requirements are for safety, this, that, and the other side, like distance and everything else, but, that would be the only thing I see the town getting involved in for changing the yellow line, but I can't see it changing too much down there. I mean, that's a tenant and a landlord issue that they need to work out.
Okay. So who is the, landlord for 104?
So it's Kevin Bates.
And Bates says, you know, my initial thought was he had some kind of arrangement. Did he try to negotiate with the previous, wherever he had his parking, the 106 maybe landlord, and did they try working something out themselves, or?
Yeah, so they had worked stuff out for years when it was another business, and so now it's changed hands, and they were very accommodating to particular business that allowed parking there. However, you know, some of the tenants of 104, you know, left trash behind and littered their parking lot and stuff like that, so they lost the privileges.
Okay, so as I totally agree with what Neil said, that, you know, Kevin, Deputy McGinnis should certainly be called for any parking infractions. If our street is marked according to the regulations, then so be it. That's just a firm fact. And I guess then the only other question I might have is, so that parcel has been a apartment complex for a long time. Our code states that there has to be one, I think, off-site parking spot per unit. However, I think depending on when that was put into the code, if this piece of property was grandfathered in, or, you know, that didn't meet
It
that.
would be very difficult to enforce all of those parking regulations in the village center, which is why actually, and I don't have it in front of me, but in the village center, the zoning administrator has statutory authority to modify or waive some of the parking requirements because they might not be met. That having been said, people need to kind of pretend they live in Chicago and may have to walk 2 blocks to their apartment.
Mhm.
See, that's one of my other concerns, is the fact that we have residents that have limited off-street parking, and now there's 7 new cars on Church Street, and that's, you know, it forces them to park other places as well, and I know parking's first come, first served, but, there was an arrangement there, and now there's not. Now, there is, some extra space on the property for some additional parking spaces at 104. But I don't know if that would help, or if we could get involved in that or not.
So again, I think that's landlord, tenant, and town definitely stays out of those kind of discussions.
You do one discussion like
Yeah,
that, you're gonna
sure.
have, wow, town hall, nothing but landlord calling for help.
So you mentioned that some of them were site distance, but you said something else about available space, people are parking illegally, but not necessarily that we could possibly look at making some changes.
Yeah, so we had striped Lower Main Street there, quite a distance from the telephone pole in the picture towards Frankie's Bar and Grill. We could possibly adjust that yellow striping where there might not be a site distance issue, allow for safe passage there on Lower Main Street and gain at least one space there.
Are you talking about like right here?
Yep.
On the front?
Yep.
The only concern there though is then that basically will make that a one-lane road. Because you're gonna have parking here and here, and then you're gonna have parking in front of the business, and then you'll have Main Street as much.
But we see that, at times when, that business is at peak.
Correct.
There's overflow in front of 115 Main Street and 110. So it's relatively restricted in there anyway. And I guess more or less, it's smaller vehicles that are traveling in there. It's not that it's a weight restricted road though.
Well, Wayne, my thought process on the public works position should be, we should be marking it in regulations, so that we have a firm footing to stand on. So whatever that site regulation, the safety regulation, that's what you guys need to stick with, so that the town can be on firm footing.
Is there, Maryland, like a NDOT regulation for corners?
Well, I'm sure there is. There's regulations on the size of signage and blind spots and distances for fire hydrants and things like that. We'd have to look into those regulations and then make sure we're within that regulation.
Because I would imagine that they would have, for with so many towns and stuff, that they would have a corner like this on a main street. There would be
Yeah.
10, whatever, before there's parking lot.
Probably more than that.
Before there's parking lot, so I think it, especially with that fire hydrant right there, that car, I think, is probably approaching.
So-
These boundaries have been set for years, so.
Can we do something without kind of getting into the middle of the conflict, if there is, if you want to call it that, or disagreement? Maybe paint the roads, like do like a hashed no parking area.
We could, so we actually have a stencil for
Yeah.
that. And so we could actually utilize that stencil and then, have Kevin enforce it
Yeah.
and then send a letter to the property owner.
And is there enough
About our
signs
intentions.
on those corners to say like no parking?
There's not, there's hardly any sign.
That would probably.
But if we did that and then put no parking in there, that would kind of clearly delineate what.
Because I don't think Kevin's gonna have a lot of, well, he's probably gonna get some resistance in
Sure.
citing.
Yeah.
If there's no sign.
You have a yellow line.
I know, but I think there's still gonna be some, well, there's no sign that says you can't.
Yeah.
Always gonna be some, so, the more you can do to assist your deputy.
Hey Wayne, out of curiosity, from the main structure to the side of the bar, what is up with that house? It sits in between that. It seems like it's never inhabited, but it leans like the Tower of Pisa.
That is the same property.
Okay.
That's the apartment property we're talking about?
Yeah.
That's this one.
The little tiny place.
Correct. So
There's
just,
7 apartments in there?
there's seven apartments in the one before that.
Yeah.
There used to be a laundromat there, and they took that out.
You remember when it was full, all that?
It just, to me, I mean, I could be wrong, it just doesn't look,
It's never been in a pool.
it's never looked structurally sound. I'm like, if it's gone, there's, you know. So,
Is that the same property?
Correct. Correct.
All right, thank you. Town managers report, town property, Deer Lane Public Works Facility in 1027 Water Street. At a previous work session, meeting council decided to hold off on awarding 1 or 3 proposals received for Deer Lane Public Works Facility in 1027 Water Street property for topographic survey, boundary survey, plat, and design and preparation of the site plan and design costs. Resource Management did provide full-size to scale copies of the existing conditions plan and stormwater management plan, proposed stormwater facility in Deer Lane. The thought was these plans could be used to show mayor and council the location of the salt storage building and other improvements for planning purposes for now. However, the extent and accuracy of the existing conditions plan may not work for what was planned. Director Myers and Town Manager Dye need to discuss and evaluate further, may need to have a concept site plan prepared to accurately show the proposed solid storage building and other long-term plans for this area. Utilize one of the proposals to see likely results. So, moving dot area, working on that. Interior water meter removal as part of Maryland 31 water main improvements project. Town Manager Guy and Director Myers met with First Class Mechanical on 5/16 to discuss status of the water main project and process moving forward with interior water meter removal. First Class Mechanical was hired by the town to remove interior water meters from residences and businesses within the scope of the Maryland 31 water main project. Town Manager Guy about the first, second, and final notice letters that all have been sent. That will be sent to properties on Main Street and High Street. All three letters are in the folder for tonight's meeting. First notice letters were mailed out Thursday, May 16th, and door hangers were placed on Friday, May 17th. First notice letters were sent to properties between Lambert Avenue and Church Street, which coincides with the section memorandum, what's that? MAU, Mid-Atlantic Utilities is working in now. The first notice letters states that Mid-Atlantic Utilities is well underway with water main project beginning at Lambert Avenue, working through town on High and Main Street out to 711. Introduces FCM as town hired licensed plumber who will be removing interior water meters. Request residences and businesses provide daytime point of contact, name and number, and strongly encourages participation. Kim will gather the contact's name and number, put in spreadsheet forward to First Class Mechanical, who will then schedule removal of inside meters with residences and businesses. Second notice letter is a little stronger worded in requesting contact name and number, adding temporary disruption of water service may occur if requested information is not provided. A final notice letter adds temporary disruption of water service will occur, but also gives the property owner the option of leaving the inside meter and requires signing an attached release of liability form and returning to town hall. Based on our meeting with First Class Mechanical, the town will be satisfied with their service, and we are in good hands. First Class Mechanical is very experienced in this type of work. Any questions on that?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Since Gary's not here, it's directed towards you. Okay. When you and Gary met with First Class Mechanical, did you have any discussions with them about a water flow indicator installation along when they were removing the water meters?
So we did not. And I know when we had discussions the last time, they mentioned that there were devices that could be bought and that they would potentially install. So they're gonna introduce themselves to the residents, after we do the first door hanger, about the meter removal. So we're just waiting for Mid-Atlantic to finish the, first phase of the water line installation, and then we can have those conversations. So, I will call Kevin with First Class Mechanical, and we'll see if maybe he can get together some information to give to residents that might want a flow device. And that will be handy, when he introduces himself, probably in a few weeks.
Okay. Because a couple things, I'm home, and I run into lots of neighbors, and they have conversations with me quite frequently about that. And I told them that I'm looking with it, this is the third time I brought it up in a constant meeting now. The neighbors are not trying to be resistant and keep their water meter, but they do appreciate having the ability to know if their water is running. With the new meters out on the street, lose that ability. I'm for one, to be transparent. I want some kind of device because I did have a water leak that tripled my usage of water. It cost the town a lot of money for that 20,000 gallons that went into the ground somewhere. And, I paid for that, but still there's a cost to the water, and as town residents, we want to be good stewards of our water. So I would like to have a way, and I'm also, looking for the town to be cooperative with the residents if we can do this whole process while they're pulling out the meter and replacing it with a pressure valve interest is still there, I'm still hearing comments about it, and, so I wanna stay on top of it and see if we can, have some kind of device to be able to offer citizens to purchase. So, thank you, appreciate that.
Anyone else? All right. And then capacity management plan, GMB is preparing a proposal to perform a capacity management plan of the town's water and sewer system. The capacity management plan will look at existing water and sewer capacity and demand as well as future water and sewer demand. With the recent request from 2 properties for additional water and sewer capacity, this is much needed, so the town has the proper information for planning and decision making. Plan to have a proposal for the June 5th council meeting. Upcoming council meetings, Wednesday, June 5th, this council meeting, Monday, June 17th, the work session, and Wednesday, July 3rd, council meeting, unless people are gonna be heading out of town.
I might not be here that week.
Anybody else? Unless we just wanna do one meeting for the work session, unless somebody has something coming up that could be a potential possibility, but depending on what happens at the, June 5th council meeting and work session,
Maybe we can decide.
at the work
I
session.
don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, in case there's something with all the projects going on,
Yeah.
it's possible we may need to have a meeting, but if people are getting ready to head out of town, then I'm not gonna know of it. That goes straight. Yeah, but just give everybody a little longer. That way they won't have to come in for evening meetings and all the next 2 days. Anybody have anything else?
No.
Parade. How many are participating? Kim, you're not sure. Will is, Kevin R is, and you're not gonna be around. There's only 3 others, right, no planning commission members? Any public works? You were, didn't you ride mowers one year?
Yeah,
Or
we
truck?
ride mowers, we.
The green truck that goes.
I was gonna say, can we rent that green truck?
Well, there's 3 of us walk.
I'm
Yeah.
not be able to
We
use
may
it.
have to
I need to save the banner for next year if I'm not there.
unless we find a couple kids or something.
I might plan to.
So how's Katie getting there?
I will, have everything here, so I'll have a wagon bag to bring extra candy in the wagon.
So somebody's got to
Dog
pull
treat.
wagon truck.
So I'll have to put that as well. I want everything here on that wall.
We need to shake the trees a little bit, there we should go get a couple of them. Can we think of anybody else that's involved in town with the help?
Larry Schmidt.
They're riding on a wagon,
Mhm.
they got a horse and buggy.
I'm ready to.
Yeah, they're not that used to this, yeah, one's into it.
How's Sharon doing?
Everybody.
Mhm.
Sharon, that's Sharon, she probably loved that.
All
Make her put a
former
piece
council members.
of, call Ed,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll call Ed.
but they had to put a piece of tape over there.
Well, 3 of us, we'll just take turns pulling the wagon,
Yeah, it's fine, we'll be fine.
but we should have plenty of kids.
Plenty of candy, I'll make sure we have plenty of candy.
I'm hoping I can dump my husband in the house and run down the street, so I'm gonna wear my town shirt to the hospital and everything.
But my knee gives out, somebody's pulling me. I'm going down Church Street.
This is getting complicated.
But don't forget, I think everybody knows, Carnival starts, tomorrow night, till through Saturday, a great Wednesday night, 7 p.m. One of their bigger fundraisers, so come out and support. If you're looking for something to do, get your community service hours in, come out, help the fire department in their food stand or Lions Club or any of the many, fire department stands. They will be more than welcome you to come out. And if you want to sell tickets in an air conditioned booth or put wristbands on the kids, that's a lot of fun, it really is. Seeing kids happy, so, come out and do your civic duty. So, not like you don't do enough. It is a big week for the carnival, and as a lot of organizations, they're always looking for additional volunteers, so, please come out.
They have
One
lunch,
night segment.
they have lunch today.
Yeah.
Every day too.
Through Friday. Yeah, 11 to 1. So, come out and get some of the best I think that's everything. We have anything else, right? And next musical on the main at 6 o'clock before the town council. All right. All righty, and while you're out at the carnival grounds and you're listening to the music, see whether or not it's something you might want to have for musical meeting. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?